Relics, you hear? What's this? Oh, hell yeah.
Welcome back to Buzzed In, everybody. I'm your host, Relics.
I'm Juice.
Hey, guys. So we wanted to, first of all, say happy holidays to you and your family. I know some of us are celebrating early. We got the Christmas set going. We got the suit that's supposed to be one suit.
We got the tie.
Now it's two suits. And we're really excited to do this episode for you. For the first time since we've started the show, next week will be a week we miss an episode. We will not be putting one out for Christmas week unless we're able to get something pre-recorded.
Yeah.
But that'll be it, and then we'll be right back at it after that. So this is episode 5.
Yeah, and we wore sort of almost similar shirts underneath. Well, his underneath.
How about that?
I'm just saying, it wasn't planned.
Was not. The tie and jacket were clearly
this
planned.
was planned.
But the shirts were not. So we wanted to start off, I think, by giving you a little update. So a buddy of mine and a co-content creator, not really, we don't create content together, but he's a peer who also creates content. Jack Wade gave us, the channel here at Buzzed In, a shout out on his channel, which he is starting to revive. He used to post content more regularly. He's just now getting back into it. He has his gameplay in the background from him playing games. Right now I think he's big into Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, and he just does commentary over it. I showed you some of his video.
Good stuff.
And he gave us a shout out, which was really neat. He has over 50 subscribers. He's going to start posting more regularly now. Go check out his channel, and it'll be in the description below. And the reason why I brought him up as well was because he commented on the video last week and asked for an update on the reporter story.
Yeah.
And we have a little update on the reporter story for you guys not heard. If you were here last week, or if you weren't, Justin, you want to give him a little update on what we talked about last week?
So the story that he was talking about, by the way, thanks Jack for the thing. Go check out his channel. But yeah, so the story was that there was a lady, a reporter, and what was it, in Savannah, Georgia? Where was it at?
Bridge. I think it was the bridge run for Savannah. So
okay, yeah. So she was a reporter, and she was covering a marathon they were running down there for charity. And runners are running past her, and pretty much what happens is one of the runners, like other runners are trying to give her high fives, and one of the runners, an older guy, comes up to right behind her and just smacks her on the butt.
His name was Tom Calloway.
Yeah.
And we talked about how she looked really shocked and mortified by the whole thing. Well, there's an update. I have 2 updates. So first of all, Calloway, and I believe in an interview with TMZ, or they had just reported on an interview he had about it, he tried to play it off by saying that he just meant to tap her on the shoulder, on the back, like, hey, nice job, thanks for being here. But he was caught up in the moment.
And pretty big difference.
Yeah, and didn't realize that his hand landed on her bottom. And so...
That's the lamest excuse I've ever heard.
Well, she responded. So the reporter is now filing a lawsuit against the guy for sexual battery, which I assume she will win, especially with the media blow-up that this had.
Yeah, which she should. I think that was a little crazy, honestly. I mean, especially because it makes him look even worse that he said, I meant to grab her shoulder, but my hand just happened to fall down and grab her butt.
Right. So when the lawsuit goes through and we decide what the verdict is, we're the jury. Judge, jury, and executioner.
Yeah, we decide.
When we find out what the verdict is, we will share that with you all for the final update on that story. So thanks again, Jack, for asking about it.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Jack, for shouting us out. And everybody, again, please go check out his channel. Subscribe to his channel. We'll drop his link in the description below.
And don't forget, like, share, and subscribe our channel, too. You know?
Yes, and we have something to touch on that towards the end of the video, too.
But with that, also, look at that. I got myself a cup. Well,
it was his Christmas gift. He was going to unwrap it on the show, but he needed coffee when he showed up, and I wasn't going to make the poor man wait. So
yeah,
that was his Christmas gift. He now has some Buzzed In merch. So for that, let's get into our first story, which is a sad story for any of you who know of or have watched the movie Radio, which I know growing up I watched. It was another one of those, like, remember the Titans movie? That was a really good football movie.
Sporting more movie, yeah. For
and sure. The gentleman's name was James Radio Kennedy. He was...
That movie is not fake. It was, like, based off a real person.
Yes.
So.
It happened in South Carolina, which is where he lived. And it was about a gentleman named James Radio Kennedy. They referred to him as Radio on the movie, and that was because... And I think that was his nickname
because he carried around a radio or
He
something.
always had a radio on him. Yeah. He had some mental handicapped disabilities. and he ended up becoming a part of this sports team, the high school
Football team, yeah.
there where he lived, a high school football team, in almost like an assistant managerial position.
Yeah.
But really, it was just his bond with the coach and the organization and the players.
Yeah. So basis of it, like if you've seen the movie and of course the real life thing, he just happens to be sort of like around the football field where the team is practicing. The coach spots him, brings him in, and they kind of just form a friendship.
Yeah.
Shipped.
It was
so
shipped.
a friendship, and
that's right. Because in the movie, he's like outside the fence of the practice with the radio, like looking down. Because I think that was it too. He always liked to like watch them practice.
Yeah,
so they saw him every day.
Yeah, and it's a really cool story of just about like accepting others, no matter what their circumstance may be, and just a human spirit in general is what the movie's about. And then the story in general, like I said, like you said, it's inspirational stuff.
It definitely is, and it was kind of sad. It was definitely tear stroking in the movie.
I think we've seen that he actually remained with the team up until he was there for like 50 something years.
He was there until he was 50. So.
Yeah.
So it was probably about 30 years. But who played him in the movie?
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Okay. Yeah, so, and a young Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah, back then Cuba Gooding Jr. was doing like everything. He was in like Pearl Harbor and stuff too.
And so he got to play radio, and it was a really heart-aching movie. And so he died at the age of 73 on December 15th, which had just passed. And it was, and what else made the story special was because at the time in South Carolina where they lived, it was very clearly a racially divided town. Mm-hmm. And the team, I think, was predominantly white. And so for him to join the team as like an assistant manager was kind of a big deal. I know he got a lot of like backlash or like resistance from the players at first because of his skin color.
Yeah.
And then they ended up building that relationship, which was really neat. And
I mean, because you got to think of the time, the time frame that was happening. So
and
a lot of
the way it was found was there was a Sports Illustrated article that came out in 1996.
Yeah, which I did not know this until you told me. Like that's fascinating.
And that's how everyone kind of heard the story. Was Sports Illustrated ran an article on it, and then Hollywood picked it up and they released a movie in 2003.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And the movie brought it. I mean, although some people heard about it from the Sports Illustrated article, I didn't. I was born in '96. In 2003, the movie came out, and I've watched it multiple times. It's a great movie. So, again, he passed away. It's unfortunate. He affected a lot of lives, and there are a lot of people mourning his death. So, rest in peace to James Radio Kennedy. Yeah. The second story we had was the Heisman winner. You want to fill them in on that?
Yeah. That was pretty big news, especially in the college football world. But they did the Heisman ceremony, all the different awards and stuff that happen over the weekend. There's like a whole thing for college sports where they have like a whole day full of nothing but giving away awards. But they sort of separate the Heisman because it's the most prestigious. It's the MVP for college football, like as what other sports might have an MVP. But they invite 4 or 5 guys out to New York to enjoy the whole pageantry of the whole thing, and then they award the thing. And it went to LSU's quarterback Joe Burrow, which we all seen coming. He was the front runner for pretty much most of the entire year. We had a couple Buckeyes. We actually had 2 Buckeyes that were in the running. Chase Young, defensive end for Ohio State, and the quarterback Justin Fields. It's very rare for a defensive player to be in the talk for Heisman Trophy, and so it's even though he didn't win, it's a really cool thing that he got to experience that. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Justin Fields. But it was Joe Burrow won it. Second place was Jalen Hurts, the quarterback for Oklahoma, and then third was Justin Fields, and then Chase Young was fourth.
We had a couple of facts about it too.
Yeah.
So Burrows was the first LSU player to win the Heisman Trophy since 1959
for LSU,
which is huge. And by the way, wasn't he a Buckeye for a year?
So he was a former Ohio State quarterback.
We told him he wouldn't start.
Then pretty much he just transferred to LSU, which then it was a great choice for him because now he's going to go to the NFL and be I'm assuming a decent quarterback. We'll see though, but big thing is what was really cool. I thought about his speech too was he raised money for the
$200,000.
$200,000 for the Athens Food Bank.
Yep.
Which is really cool.
Which they said mainly it will be going towards. There will be a lot less families that will have to go through the holiday without a holiday meal now.
Which that's Athens, Georgia, by the way. There is an Athens, Ohio here, and Joe Burrow is from Ohio, southeast Ohio though, and but him going to Ohio State and then transferring, a lot of people thought he was going to kind of throw shade at Ohio State, but he didn't. He actually gave him a shout out thanking them as well as LSU, which I thought was really classy. I'm still a Joe Burrow fan, even though he plays in the SEC. I've always been a fan of him. I've always seen, I follow some Buckeyes on Twitter and stuff, and they always show their support for him, fellow players, saying he's doing his thing and stuff. So you can't fault a kid for making the switch to another school.
No, and not just that. I definitely heard that at one point he was pretty much told he would not be starting over the quarterback at the time. Yeah. And so he said, okay, I'm going to go somewhere I can start and prove my talent. And he did that. Yeah. And he also broke the record because he got 95% of the first place votes. Yeah. And that actually broke Troy Smith's record, which was a Buckeye.
State Buckeye, yeah.
So that was kind of neat.
95%. They said was the largest margin of victory when it comes to the Heisman voting.
Right. So. And living where we live, we probably get a lot of biased advertisement on that kind of stuff. But from everything I saw, it looked like one of the Buckeyes was definitely going to win just by all the talk I saw about it. But it's probably because people we know are Buckeyes fans.
A lot of people really want to Chase Young to win just because he's a defensive player and he's a Buckeye.
But he was the first person to win from the Buckeyes ever. Was that right? Or it was in a long time. I'll have to look it up and put the exact information down in the description. But I want to say it was forever to win the Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. He was the first Buckeye to win the Chuck Bednarik Award, which is the best Defensive Player of the Year is what it is.
First Buckeye.
First Buckeye to do that in a very long time.
So that's still pretty epic. Yeah. That's that. Great guy. Won the Heisman. He had some great things to say in his speech. I know there were tears that dropped during his speech. It was very heart-wrenching and raised some money for a good cause.
Yeah, so congratulations to Joe Burrow.
Congrats. And for our third story, we had Hallmark. Oh, so this is interesting. I really wanted to get to this. So, Hallmark, if you may not have all seen, recently had released an ad for a wedding planning company called Zola. And in the wedding planning ad, it featured a lesbian couple. Same sex, both females, couple, and a wedding planning. And a group of conservative mothers complained and said that it was too, pushy with the fact they were lesbian, or they didn't like the fact that they felt like they went out of their way to put a lesbian couple on there just so that they put a lesbian couple on there. Yeah. And due to the backlash, Hallmark removed the ad. And so let's start there because I am sick of privately owned, or even if it's publicly owned, there's a CEO, there's a marketing team that gets to decide certain things. To go back to something I think we talked about on the show, and if not, I meant to, Victoria's Secret had removed their ad. I didn't talk about it on the show because I thought they had done it due to the backlash. They claimed they did it because TV wasn't the spot for them. But the backlash they had received that everyone believes led to them removing their yearly Victoria's Secret runway show, which is huge, was because they would not put what people are titling as plus-size women on their runway for the show and plus-size lingerie. And I get how that is not morally right, but as a company, a privately owned company, you have the right to say we are selling this product for this demographic. Mm-hmm. Look, when I advertise this show on Facebook, do you know what I do? I put mainly men, I put in the state of Ohio, and I put a certain age range, and I put that the demographic is people who like podcasts. Yeah. And I spend a certain amount of money, and it blasts it out to those people. That's my right. It's my show. I know who's more likely to click on the video, and that's who I advertise to, and there's research to prove that. So it's just their company that chooses to do that.
Yeah, and don't get, it's same thing with the channel. Don't get us wrong. We want, anyone can watch the show. We're not saying, hey, it's only for you guys. Right. It's just a matter of what you can sell to, and that's what they're doing. They're not saying, oh, this is not for plus size women, and
and I think that the thing is they were being ridiculed for not having it on the runway, but for that alone means that it exists. They sell it. They just chose not to advertise it on the runway show, which they've never done in the past, because that's not where they make the bulk of their money. Does it not make sense as a company to advertise to where the bulk of your money comes in from? Exactly. There are other companies that direct their attention towards that demographic, and they're out there. Exactly. So, but to bring it back to Hallmark full circle, it's not even Hallmark's advertisement. It's a company named Zola's advertisement that they agreed for a contract to put it on Hallmark's channel. Hallmark got some blowback from a small group of conservative mothers. They took the ad down. Well, now the ad's back up because a group of people were upset that they were willing to take the ad down with the same-sex couple due to the blowback. They got blowback about that, so now it's back up. So two things there. shout out to Hallmark for putting it back up and standing your ground with that company. I hope Zola decides to renew their contract with you, accept your apology, which you do need to issue. I know they issued an apology to the public. They need to issue an apology to the company as well. Yeah. And then I hope you get that ad back up there. But at the same time, is it still coming from the same place that led you to take it down?
Yeah.
Is it coming from the place of you got blowback for... So now there's too much influence going on.
You're trying to please everyone type of situation. So you're like,
Right. A small group of people who can make fake Twitters with an egg as their profile picture and can change what a company wants their path to be drives me nuts.
Yeah.
But again, I'm glad it's back up there.
Yeah, me too.
It just becomes a whole thing of, if they posted a man and a woman in a couple there, would a community attack them for not having a gay couple on there?
Yeah.
And then now it was a same-sex couple and a group of people attack them for not having a man and a woman up there.
Right.
Why does it matter?
Why does it matter?
Watch the channel, don't watch the channel. Buy from the company, don't buy from the company. Just leave it alone. Stop being a social justice Twitter warrior on either side.
That's the thing, and I'm a supporter of people doing what they want, loving who they want, all that stuff. Right?
It's their life.
It's their life. I have some family members that are part of that community, and they have my full support, and anyone out there that does. And it's not like it's not one of those things like, oh, I know someone that's like this, so I support. No, it's just the general idea of things, but of love who you want to love.
Or what you want to love.
Yeah, or what you want to love, yeah. But, this is just one of those, like you said, did they do it for the right reasons? Did they take it, did they put it back up for the right reasons? Mm-hmm. I hope they did, but, we have no way of knowing that.
We'll never know. I just want to cover the story because it's just another example of a company or entity that got bullied into doing something they didn't want to do. But this is also one of the first stories where you've heard, instead of them just issuing an apology for it and letting it settle in the dust, they came back and said, no, we're going to put it back up. And that's why I felt the need to cover this one, because hopefully that's a first step for other companies and entities and individuals in the spotlight to maybe take that approach instead. Yeah. So anyways, I guess in a way, shout out to Hallmark for putting the ad back up. Yeah. Like you said, I can't penalize them for the reason why they did it, because you and I will never know.
Yeah.
So that being said, our fourth story, which is the biggest story of the week for me, which is why it came last, was RLCS.
Yeah.
So, the Rocket League World Championship Series, this is our story for gaming for the week, happened over this weekend. The RLCS happened over a month and a half. Different weekends of league play and teams being eliminated, and then they get into the playoffs. And then this weekend was day 1, day 2, day 3 of the actual championship. It was when they had the top 6 teams that made it in the upper winners bracket, and they found who the champion was, and it was crowned to be NRG, which is an esports organization that is in multiple different video games, and they're pretty successful in all 3. The team in Rocket League is composed of 3 players, Garrett G, Justin, and Turbo Pulsa, and they pulled it off. And as we tell you guys all the time, we're huge Rocket League fans. Yeah. And did you happen to catch any of this RLCS?
I watched a little bit of it, but I didn't get to watch the final game or anything.
Yeah. So I did, and it was crazy. So another thing to note, maybe some other team names you've heard, and definitely esports organizations you all have heard of.
Yeah.
G2 and Cloud9, which were 2 of my favorite North American esport organizations. They normally are very big in Rocket League, especially Cloud9. They've won an RLCS in the past. They didn't make it to the top 6.
Yeah.
And that's huge for them. I think maybe not Cloud9, but G2, one of them don't even have, for the first time since I've started playing Rocket League when it came out, they don't have a guaranteed spot in RLCS next year. Mm-hmm. They have to earn their spot through the Rocket League Rivals Series. Yeah. But then teams that maybe you're not too familiar with in the Rocket League scene, such as Pittsburgh Knights, now have a guaranteed spot, and that's crazy.
Yeah. Which I think it's cool. It brings an aspect, because every single year for a long time it was literally like the same 4 or 5 teams, 6 teams that you always seen. That's how you get to know these like teams like Cloud9 and NRG and stuff like that. And that's cool that you have like sort of an underdog out of nowhere team that just has that guaranteed spot. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and they it was a really good final 3 days. I'm not going to complain about that. I believe there was in day 1 there was still even an OCE team, Oceanic team.
Okay.
Which is only the second time that's ever happened. So we have some North American teams, have some European teams, have the Oceanic team. And speaking of teams that continue to make it back, NRG And by the way, he's getting our meme delivery right now.
Yeah.
If NRG has been there 4 times, and every time they've been to the final game, the championship game, they're always favored to win because they look the best, and they've lost every single time. And their player, Garrett G, has been in the talks of one of the best player to ever play Rocket League, and he's never won a world title. And this was the first year it happened.
They went out and got what's that one team?
Turbo Pulsar. So last year NRG again was in the championship game, and they got the trophy taken from them. They lost to a European team who hosted this player, Turbo Pulsar, who is one of the best players in the world. So this year NRG actually, although it was not the first international trade, I believe it was the second, but it's considered to be the biggest. They recruited Turbo Pulsar from Europe to come to North America and play for their team NRG this year. So with the person who took the trophy from them last year was on their team this year, and they played together, and they won it, and it made Turbo Pulsar the only player in history to have 4 world titles.
Yeah, that's nuts.
In Rocket League under his belt. So shout out Turbo Pulsar, shout out the guys over at NRG. It was a crazy game.
Yeah, I think that like the things that they like watching. You have like, there's different communities where you can watch videos, or you can go on YouTube and just kind of watch like people's like doing different Rocket League shots. The way that these guys play is just it's ridiculous.
It is crazy, and we'll post. We'll show the winning goal.
Yeah. What was the final? What was like the final score and stuff like that? And what was it?
So what it was the final series between Renault Vitality, who has the players Scrub Killa, K-Dop, and Fairy Peak. Fairy Peak's another one of all 3 of those players. That's a stacked squad. Both teams were stacked with high talent. They went to Game 7 in a best of 7, and then Game 7 went into overtime. And at the 21-second mark into post overtime, Justin, the player who's newer to the Rocket League scene in the pros, he's only been there for a couple of years. Or a couple of RLCSs, not even a couple of years. He scored the game-winning goal in overtime at 21-second mark.
Yeah,
and it was a crazy goal. And their reaction afterwards, which we'll try to get a clip of and post too, was insane. In the post-series interview, Justin was like crying that they won. So it's really, and it was $200,000 to be fair. And what a lot of people don't know, if you don't play Rocket League, you don't know. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but what they do is if you win RLCS for so long after RLCS, or maybe until the next one, if you imagine, if you've never played Rocket League, imagine like a hockey arena. And when you're at the hockey game or baseball game or wherever, there may be banners hanging down on the inside of the arena that show advertisements for certain companies. They put the winners of RLCS, the team name, the logo, maybe the picture of the 3 guys that won it, all around the arena of every map that has those banners.
Which is cool as a gamer. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And what you was talking about with the score, it's upsetting as a player, like, as we play Rocket League, you go through this whole game, and then you eventually tie the game up, and you force it to a Game 7, and you tie that 7th game up, right, and then it goes in overtime, and then it takes 21 seconds, and you lose.
Right.
Like, damn
and they just played, it was a 7-game series.
Yeah.
And they've been playing all day, all weekend, and like 2 months in a row, nonstop playing. And Renault Vitality, the team that they beat, like I said, a stacked squad, they won the RLCS last year.
Yeah.
So they were returning champions and got beat. And it was NRG's first, and it was really neat to see. So shout out Garrett G, Justin, and Turbo Pulsar. Hats off to you. It was a great game.
Yeah, it was cool.
I watched it. It was intense. And Renault Vitality, you guys put up a hell of a show. Great competition. And so I'm sure we'll see you next year. They obviously have a guaranteed spot in RLCS. So I can't wait already to watch it again next year. Maybe now that you all know about it, if you didn't before, maybe you should tune in next year. Yeah. The great thing about Rocket League is you don't have to be a gamer to follow along. It's literally like watching a sport on TV.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's very easy to pick up and understand what's going on for the most part.
It's soccer with cars.
Right.
Simple concept, but it's a great game.
So that being said, that was all the stories we had. Now let's get into our favorite segment of the week, and hopefully yours too. Memes of the week, which you just received a meme delivery.
Yes, I did.
And let's look, and this time we're doing something different. I don't have titles for them or descriptions because we have not seen them yet.
Yeah, we've never seen these.
That's part of the meme delivery. We wanted organic, raw reactions. So we're going to take a look at these memes while you guys take a look at them and react together.
All right.
So the first one we have is Sully from Monster Inc. When you're about to sneeze, but you got to concentrate to make it happen. So those things, and it's funny because some people do things to try to not sneeze, but he's doing something to try to sneeze. That's funny. I love that movie. What is happening in this one? I'm not particularly proud of this, but I feel like I need to tell everyone You see that tiny pickle on the upper left-hand side? I spent a good 30 seconds trying to fish that dude out before I realized the pickle was actually my pinky underneath the jar. Oh, that's hilarious. I didn't even know what it was until we read it.
That's hilarious.
That's so funny. That's super funny. When you spend the night at your friend's place and they forget to give you a plate. This is super funny to me.
Box. Dude, that was such a problem with... I've had friends that have done that. I'm sure I've done that to friends. You know, they just they get like a sheet maybe not even that.
I made it my goal to always have a decent blanket when a friend came over because I was the kind of kid that grew up spending the night at people's houses all the time, buddies and stuff.
Yeah.
And let me just tell you, I'm crying. When they gave you, so you guys know what I'm talking about. You have 4 types of friends. You have the friend who's very rare friend out there. When you find them, you need to hold on to them. You go to their house. They give you a choice of the lot. They got like 30 blankets in the Tupperware container.
Let you sleep on their bed while they sleep on the floor.
Oh, dude, that's a golden best friend right there. Your second type of friend forgets that you need a blanket or pillow entirely and just thinks you're some sort of animal that's okay with sleeping on the floor with nothing. And they're like, all right, you crash here, I'll crash there. It's like your first time ever over there, so you don't speak up and say anything.
They go to bed super early and you're like, dude, I'm trying to party still.
Dude, okay.
14
Third type of friend gives you a blanket that their grandmother made 40 years ago, and it's cross-stitched, and it has these giant diamond-shaped holes in it.
Yeah.
And it's super cold because they got
your
like
knee
3
pops
comforters.
through the hole and stuff.
Their parents have the AC on like 65, and they have a fan going because they're hot under their comforter. And you got all these little holes, and it's almost like little pockets of frostbite that are starting to form. And then the fourth type of friend gives you the blanket that's literally made out of insulation. Before you came over that day, they grabbed insulation, stitched it together, and you wake up with scratches all over your body. You can't fall asleep.
Looks like a demon attacked you at night.
Dude, but nobody ever just gives you a good blanket. You never went to someone's house and went, and I'm really happy with this blanket. And this kid had to go find it. And I've woken up in the middle of the night and had to walk around my friend's house and look for anything. I've used my friend's hoodies. I've used some unspeakable things. Probably like aluminum foil at one point. Like anything because how cold
This kid's in a box with the laptop
and
next
to
to
a picture how you don't see him at all. That's super funny.
All right. Let's go to the next one here.
Me begging my poop to flush when I'm at someone else's house.
Nothing like a good poop bead.
Look at it. Like it's sticking up through the toilet and you can't get the flush. I would say the only thing worse than that, or maybe it's kind of related to that, is when you clog somebody's toilet.
Oh, yeah.
That's terrible. Because you don't want to go tell them. This is why aquariums aren't open at night. What is it?
That's a dolphin.
No.
That's a dolphin.
Wait, what's it do? What's it do? What's in the middle of it? That's like a person's face, isn't it?
No, it's just his little nose, dude.
What's it doing? I'm guessing it's like up against the aquarium wall.
I don't know.
That's super. It would be all.
That's creepy.
It's probably just showing us like how bright some of them are and like how creepy it would be.
It's creepy.
That is funny. No one would think it's a dolphin. It's scary.
You'll understand how hard You didn't understand how hard I laughed at this.
Above me. That's a little anatomy lesson for you all.
Yeah, there you go.
If you didn't know what was the above knee and what was the below knee. Obama plus Thanos equals Obanos equals the Obanos. That's hilarious. It does look like
it really does. That's hilarious.
Oh,
that's it.
That's it for our meme delivery. Shout out to my wonderful girlfriend, Rebecca, for sending us the memes this week.
Thank you.
And let us know in the comments below if you guys preferred the organic reactions. I'm sure it's a little cheesy with us huddling together around the phone, but if you prefer the organic reactions over us seeing them before, I like that better. I think.
Yeah, I did too.
And she picked out great memes. I'm sorry I didn't get the dolphin one right away.
Right.
But they were all hilarious.
So we do got some exciting news for...
We do. So that's what I wanted to tell you when you mentioned for people to subscribe and like the video. So what we want to do, because it's Christmas time, and normally channels wait till they get a lot bigger, they're monetized, they start making money off their videos to do stuff like this. But it's Christmas time.
Yeah.
So I want to do it for you guys. Hopefully you've stuck around this long in the video so you can be a part of this, because we have some requirements we have to meet in order for this to happen. So if the video gets 30 likes, which is not hard. Most of the time we're right around the 15, 20 mark. Mm-hmm. So if it gets 30 likes, at least 180 views, and 20 people comment below, and mind you, we need 20 comments from people who are subscribed. So if you're not subscribed, if you haven't created a YouTube channel, it literally takes like 10 seconds with a Gmail. Create a YouTube channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel. If we hit those metrics, again, 30 likes, 180 views, and 20 comments from subscribers, we will pick a random winner out of the subscribers who have commented.
Subscribers
and we
that
will
comment.
send you a $15 gift card anywhere of your choice. We will not do like a Visa or MasterCard, though. We want to keep it to a specific company.
Location,
whether it be a restaurant, Dick's, any kind of Kohl's, anything like that. Easy.
Perv. You're a freaking perv.
I'm not talking about the fish that washed up on the shore.
Oh, God. That thing's creepy.
Picture right there. We won't talk about it because it's underage listeners, but we'll flash that picture right there. It's a worm that washed up in California.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That's really gross.
Although I will say this, because I'm not going to mention anything inappropriate about it, although I already did. They're called the innkeeper worm. And the reason why, and I told you this because I thought it was kind of neat, it's called the innkeeper worm because it burrows underground and creates like a spot for it to live, but it always makes a hole or like a channel bigger than what it needs because it lets other like creatures and insects and like hang out with it and like live with it.
Weird.
So it's called the innkeeper worm. Doesn't like being lonely,
it's hospitable, but...
Doesn't like being lonely.
Yeah. Well...
Think about it. He's just one of us.
Yeah.
So stop judging him by the way he looks.
Yeah. So so like he said, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Give a thumbs up on the video here. Go one more time. Just tell them again about the giveaway.
One more time.
The metrics of it.
30 likes. We need 180 views or more, and we need 20 comments or more from subscribers. You have to be subscribed. It's just that little red subscribe button below the video. You have to sign into a YouTube channel to do it. It's all completely free. It takes 1 second and a click.
So
it's just so that you get notified when we release a video. That's all the subscribing button is for. Subscribe, comment. We get 20 unique people to comment that are subscribed. We will give a $15 gift card to a random winner who comments of any place of your choice.
Yep. So
restaurant,
tell your friends, your family, get your aunt to make a YouTube channel account, make one for her, whatever you're gonna do.
And again, we're years away from making money off of this channel. It's just Christmas.
It's a Christmas thing. We're in the giving spirit. Look at these lights.
How about that? So go ahead and do that. It would help us just because we want to get the content to more people, and then we're just going to pay for the gift card out of our pocket. But it's Christmas. We're in the giving spirit.
Yeah.
So again, thank you all for stopping by. Happy holidays to you and your family because we won't see each other for another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Episode 6 coming in 2 weeks, and until then,
stay buzzed in.